Oh gosh, this is really really annoying. I'm sorry, guys. Now I'm gonna have to start all over again. I wasn't watching the chat, so yeah, it's still no audio, huh? I don't know what's going on. See if that's working. All right, now it's better. Okay. Really sorry about that, guys. I mean, I'm trying new equipment and seeing if everything works. If you saw my earlier video, I've been on a road trip. I am in the Blockchain Capital offices right now, and trying to do a lot of stuff. I'm preparing for the seminar tomorrow. I'm going to teach a bunch of new developers on Bitcoin, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Going on road trips, seeing national parks and everything else. I'm enjoying myself. I'm still working on my book. I've gone through a first draft. I'm going through a second draft right now where I'm like filling it in with exercises and things like that. That's taking a while. There's definitely a lot of material that I have to add. Plus, I'm on vacation. I'm not supposed to work on that stuff, but I kind of have to. I'm also excited about the cam is crazy. So, but I'm really excited about the carnivory dinner tonight. A lot of people signed up. There's, I think, going to be like 50 something people there. We're going to eat lots of steak and we're going to hang out and talk about Bitcoin. I mean, what can be better, right? Anyway, I wanted to play with some of the toys here, but I apparently don't know how to play with a lot of these toys. This is supposed to be like this really expensive podcasting mic. My camera is really good, but it has this weird auto-focusing thing. I got to learn how to turn off autofocus so I can, like it doesn't jump around so much. But yeah, like Blockchain Capital, they have a bunch of stuff in their new offices that are really cool. There's a whole VR room, which is really cool. I haven't even played with a lot of that stuff yet. Apparently, like the fully immersive VR is incredible, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. It's been a crazy ride. People like the quality, I guess, of the video stream. Other than the stupid autofocus that keeps like engaging. I wish it would make up its mind whether or not. Well, you know what? Let me turn up the aperture. Maybe that will do something. Except I can't because the aperture ring is just sort of locked in right now. Although maybe I can do this. Yeah. All right. All right. So maybe it won't hunt for things so much. Or maybe it'll do even more of it with with less light coming in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying out new stuff. I got this little toy. This is lighting up my face. It's like a $40 thing that's supposed to help. I got like a new camcorder, which I've been recording my 5-minute videos on. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff that I've been working on. I'm taking lots and lots of pictures because it's a family vacation and I love photography and stuff like that. The camera I'm working with right now is the RX Mark V, RX 100 Mark V. Kind of regretting not getting the RX 10 because it has a lot more reach, and especially with animals and things like that, it's supposed to be really good. But this one's really pocketable and makes really great videos. I can't really complain, and it's a lot smaller. So anyway, yeah. So let's see if there's a bunch of questions. Hey Jimmy, thanks for doing this. I have a question. Could you break down why Luke Dash Jr. tweets about changing the POW algo? Is there any merit in his claims? Well, yeah, this is a very deep question. So, I mean, should we change the proof of work? There hasn't been a proof of work attack on Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that there won't be one. That said, there's a degree of risk associated with changing the proof of work algorithm, which I think you have to take into account. If you change it, then a lot of other things, there are significant consequences that I don't think we fully understand. So, I get Luke's concern. It's mostly that Bitmain controls way too much of it, of the hash power, that is, and either directly or indirectly, they directly control a bunch of miners, but they also indirectly control because they provide the hardware to a lot of these pools. So the question is, well, if they sort of have control, don't they kind of own mining, and wouldn't that be bad for the network? So that's a real question. Is the risk of Bitmain doing something nasty offset? Like, how's that compared to changing the proof of work? In Luke's opinion, it looks like proof of work change would be better. I'm of the opinion that even if we change the proof of work, Bitmain would be probably the first one to create an ASIC out of it. They're just that good. If you've been watching that company, they've come out with like hundreds of different, well, not hundreds, but they've come out with a lot of different ASIC designs, right? They've done a Dash miner, Ethereum miner, Litecoin miner, Zcash miner, Monero miner. That's their competency. They know how to design ASICs. They're even going out into artificial intelligence and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not so certain that the trade-offs are very good for a proof of work change. But I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm and Luke has a different math than I do, so that's what I would say. All right, let's see another question. What is the lowest possible fee greater than 0 for a transaction? 1 Satoshi or 1 Satoshi per megabyte? It's just 1 Satoshi. You can the fee is calculated as the inputs minus the outputs, and that has to be 0 or more. And if it's 0, that's the absolute lowest fee you can have. Otherwise, you're printing money. Or you can have 1, which is the second lowest, 1 Satoshi for the entire transaction. So it could be 100 bytes. So it would be 0.01 Satoshi per byte, something like that. In which case, that's a very low fee, but it's greater than 0, so a miner might mine it. Can you describe BIP47 and reusable payments work? Yeah, so this uses like a Diffie-Hellman exchange, and that gets a little involved. But more or less, you can sort of publish your extended pub key from your normal BIP32 wallet, right? Like some sort of extended pub key. This is a hierarchical, deterministic wallet, and what the other party can do is they can sort of mix that extended public key with their own public key in such a way as to make it so that only you can derive the private key. But they can derive the public key. No one else can derive either one, unless there's a really interesting math there. But that's what it's supposed to be. It adds a lot more privacy. The problem there is that you now have to keep track of everything. So if you lose your phone that use BIP47 wallets, then how are you going to recover it? You don't know who's paid you. You don't know which ones are yours. And you need to know the other extended pub key in order to be able to derive it. So it's a really good idea. There's some problems with it, which is why not every wallet. I think Samurai is the only one that's done it. So that's the other one. Did you see Peter Woolley's presentation on Schnorr? I have not, but I understand what Schnorr is, and I've talked to him extensively about it, so I understand a lot of it. When to cash in on BTC dividends? Yeah, I mean, I just cash them as soon as I can. That's been the pattern for me, and that's done pretty well because these forks tend to go down really, really fast. Most of them are down over 90% from their high. If we change POW today, Bcash will take over. I don't know about that. Who knows? Can you stop working with Tone? Why? When do you think we will start to see Schnorr SIGs on mainnet? That's probably like another year and a half, something like that. I just wanted to thank you for what you said to Amber and Joe at Consensus. Well, thank you, thank you. I'm still trying to work out a bet with Joe. He has refused to engage me in any way, shape, or form, despite him bringing up the bet. So if you want to shame him into betting with me, that would be great, because I would like to make some money. But he does not want to bet with me. All right. How hard is it to implement confidential transactions on Bitcoin? It would probably have to be on a sidechain, and sidechains are kind of stalled right now. Do you agree with Richard Hart? I mean, 51% attack is usually not profitable now, unless you can get some good or service worth more than the 51% attack costs. But then you would be rolling it back, and they would know exactly who did it. So I'm not sure how that changes anything. How do you feel about Tron acquiring BitTorrent? Let's see. How can BTC price be stabilized? I don't think it can. There's something called the Trillium, which is the central banker's three-headed monster that you can't satisfy all three of, and that's an independent monetary policy, which Bitcoin clearly has. Free capital flows, which Bitcoin clearly has. You can move back and forth between Bitcoin and dollars or some other currency you want it to be stable against pretty easily, and a stable price, a peg currency. You can't have all three, and you can't have a stable Bitcoin against the dollar because the other two are free flowing. So that's why it continues to be volatile. It's not necessarily volatile per se. It's just that you have free capital flows and you have an independent monetary policy. So of course it's going to change. That change, by the way, is a good thing. That's why Bitcoin has gone up so much against the dollar over the last 9 years. All right. Upcoming stress test. I don't really care about it that much. Do you think any of the altcoins in the ecosystem are useful? Of course. There are a lot of them test a lot of features and stuff like that. We get to see what happens in the real world. These are little economic labs, and those are really, really good. How do you feel about Coinbase censoring tainted Bitcoins? If they do that, that's kind of their problem, and people will go elsewhere. How have you discussed tokenization of securities with Bruce Fenton? No, I have not. I think he wants to debate me, and if Bruce, if you want to come on my show and talk about it, let's figure something out. Let's see, a carnivore dinner in New York. If I'm in New York, I will have a carnivore dinner. I think there's a carnivore dinner in New York with Safedine and Pierre Rochard on August 3rd. So I would strongly encourage you to go to one of those. Yeah. Have you studied Mimblewimble? Yeah, Mimblewimble is like, it's a dynamic UTXO set with no blockchain kind of, and it's really cool. So I'm very excited. Yeah. Anyway, I think this was more an experiment. It looks like I haven't gotten the audio stuff really all set that well. So I am going to get out and I have to be gone for a couple days. So hopefully you guys can deal with me not being around. And I'm gonna be doing more in a bit. So anyway, thanks, and this song is done.